All right, welcome to the June 26th OCHA meeting. My name is Melina Moran, she, her pronouns, and I want to thank everyone for being here today. Before we start our work today, I wanted to do something a little different, just because of the escalation in ICE raids and detention and attacks on our community. I wanted to highlight that these actions do not reflect our values as a commission. And I think that we need to voice our concern. It's fitting that this month is Immigrant Heritage Month, which is a time to honor immigrants who are recently arrived or who have been here a long time and the generations before us. So as a commission, it's our charge to advocate for immigrant families. And so I think that we need to ensure that our policies are rooted in equity and humanity. And our job is to have voices for those who don't have their voices heard. And so today I want to just focus this meeting on action and what we could do as a commission. And so during roll call, I would love just if you feel comfortable to share your thoughts on what's going on, ideas, what we can do, just any thoughts or comments. So with that, I will send it over to Ava for roll call.
Thank you. Signify by saying aye or present. Chair Moran.
I'm present.
Vice Chair Gonzalez.
Present, and I'll take the opportunity as well to just acknowledge that this is a time where our solidarity is principal, and to make sure to connect with those households and those parts of our community that we have our touch point with, because they need us and they need to know that we see, and let's not let fear run our day-to-day life right now.
Thank you. Commissioner Ayala Johnson.
I thank you for starting like this, Commissioner Moran. I definitely agree. I think it's tough times where we can use our creativity and rise and organize. And I know that we need people out there advocating and doing all that work in the streets as well. But I also think that we can organize at this level and connect and move forward with the things that we can do. I sometimes feel useless and helpless on my assets, and as I much as do information in Spanish, that's kind of what I've been focusing on, sharing resources and what's actually happening without putting the fear on that information. So any ideas or any other things that we can do with the Telemundo hat, Oregon Pro en Español hat, Latino founders, anything that I do in Spanish, we can definitely interconnect all of these roles. So thank you.
Commissioner Butler.
Good morning, everyone. Present, and grateful for the opportunity. Thank you so much, Commissioner Moran, for just bringing this to the forefront. Things are not normal now. I think that's more important than ever to acknowledge. And I do think things like this and working together, being strategic, and centering everything kind of in the how we're doing with the present moment, I think is paramount. So I appreciate the opportunity, and so I'm here today, and I look forward to doing as much as we can today.
Commissioner Riggs, Commissioner Martinez, Senator Campos, and Representative Ruiz are not present. I will close the roll call.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. It's important times, and I believe that we can work together to make change and keep people safe. So with that, I hope you all have had a look at the agenda. The only thing we're adding is commissioner updates. And then next, anyone have any changes from our minutes from our last meeting, April 14th? Or any edits? Okay, so common consent for approval for those. And then just going on to commissioner updates. This is a quick meeting, so I'll keep it short. I want to hear from you. So I just want to make sure that we all are engaging in our community in ways that we can. I know that the Latino Community Association has multiple events to protect our community, and we can participate in different peaceful protests and different ways. There's one application I would like you all to consider and share with your groups is the Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber has a program, the Latino Leadership Program. This is a chance to enhance skills, connect with peers, and engage with other Latino leaders. And the application is due August 25th. And I will open the floor to any other commissioner updates.
All right, I will go first. Commissioner Butler here, and actually, yeah, grateful for today, even though it's a short meeting. Honestly, I don't have too many updates. The only thing that I'm on that's kind of related to this is the American 250 Committee, which is planning America's 250th birthday party here in Oregon next year. It is very apolitical from what we understand. Everything is still strangely going forward as planned. It also is a huge opportunity for boosting business. So actually, it could be, and they really are. I think people like. It felt weird to be present in the moment celebrating America, but having all these different voices in the room, I think encourage them to like make sure we're reaching out to all these different communities to make sure if they want to be included, they can be. So I don't know, people are like running specials and they're gonna have all this like touristy, yeah, just commerce brought into the state or the country, I guess, because everyone, it's gonna be this one big thing that happens. Everyone has connect. So we had a meeting last Friday, and just it's moves kind of slowly, but they've got the website up and going, and yeah, just here in Portland planning Pride, and I hope you all have had a good one. And we get an extra few weeks here in Portland because ours is in mid-July when the weather's a bit more accommodating, but that's been my focus mostly these days. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead. Sure.
Very quiet. We can't really hear you.
Oh, I can go ahead and share. I'm sorry. I was just
Yep, that's perfect.
I definitely raised my voice. So as a commissioner, I am working on the Hispanic Heritage Month, and this is a collaboration that has grown meeting by meeting. Our first meeting was in May 1st, and we had one a couple weeks ago. So the list has grown. I have a few questions, and I don't know if we need to vote on that. But they have a date. It's October 11th, which is a Saturday. It's about 2-hour event, but we have to be there a little bit earlier to prep. One of my questions is, do we want to have a table at the Capitol? They have very limited space. We are going to be inside the Capitol, and there's very, very limited space. So I need to let them know if we want a table or not. Some of the people, the organizations that are collaborating is Instituto de Cultura Oregoniana, who's kind of overseeing this event with the help of Stacy Nelly, a public outreach coordinator. The Capitol. We also have the OCHA is going to have a table. DHS is going to have a table. Language Access is also going to have a table. The Language Access from the Capitol. They have about 10 different artists that are going to be appearing, music and dances. What else? We have Latinos Government Alliance being part of this, Liga. Comunidad y Herencia Cultural, as well as Eugene Arte Latino, Salem Cultural and World Beat are part of these. The City of Salem, Peruvian Cultural Festival, and CC Media are all going to be having a participation during this event. Now, my goal or my idea is to have the governor during this event and that she can be our guest as commissioners. And then she can use that time and space for the proclamation as well. How can we move forward into that? What do I need to do to get the governor's attention?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for working on this and coordinating OCHA with this Hispanic Heritage Month event. So we have this on our agenda, so we'll just move it up to now. So the way that we would go forward with this is we would need a motion to partner and with this, which we have been talking about the last few meetings. And then Seba, I believe that you can reach out to the governor's office and request the governor to attend this meeting and sign the proclamation. That's the process, or anything else you want to add, Seba?
Correct. If I could just clarify, Commissioner Ayala, is this the event you are referencing that you had emailed about?
Correct.
Thank you. So yes, we don't necessarily need a vote to have opt into, like, this is an event that OCHA wants to do. If the chair and vice chair decide that that is something that you all want to do, you are absolutely welcome to do so. What I would encourage as with all events is that if this is something that you all want to do, I do need guaranteed commissioner participation. So once we have that, like, we can take it from there. Similarly with the tabling, we would need like commissioner participation for the whole duration of the tabling, and I would be there with you. I just can't be the spokesperson for OCHA.
Mhm.
And that's what
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Nancy.
sorry, it's where I was asking if we need a table. The only way I can see us having a table is if we have commissioners attending that table. If not, it's pointless for us to have one and just take space that other organization can use. So,
Mhm.
and I will
So-
be there. I can help as well, but I know it gets hectic and one person is not enough to be at a table.
Mhm.
Are there any sister organizations that we could perhaps partner with that would be interested in tabling with us?
OHA, or OHA or DHS.
Or the lat what's that organization
Liga?
in Portland that you work
Oh.
with? The
Latino
la-
founder?
Yeah. I mean, it could, or also it's like whatever we're setting the I don't know if this is related to this conversation, is who, if we are partnering with someone for our Hispanic Heritage Month celebration, maybe this could be an opportunity to just, then we could share the tabling responsibilities. Or is that,
I have some thoughts on that. I just real quick, as we're spitballing, I see a tremendous value. First, Nancy, thank you for bringing all these ideas to the table. I see tremendous value in this idea of going to an event, having a presence, and having the governor as a guest. Um, it puts us in that sweet spot of like part of our biggest value to our community is being that connection to the state. And I think this is a two-way bridge, frankly, that needs to be built. And if we could get the governor to pay attention to us and show up with this, that would be a major win in having that presence, having us kind of be the ambassador entourage host of like, come governor and say your things, and then we get to kind of make sure they're taken care of. At the same time, as far as tabling goes, I see a lot of value in us not tabling, but being there with the governor. And then maybe if the governor had time walking with the governor to kind of introduce ourselves and the governor to some of these orgs, making some touch points to the tables, or at the very least, being able to go to visit all the orgs, having tables. I see more value in that than us sitting at a table I would want to be there. I'd want to be there. I would be happy to be there at the event, make sure the governor's having a good time and go make those connections. I see more of, personally, I saw more value in making that part of it than the commitment to the table and taking space from an organization. And part of that is because I'm not sure, let's say we're sitting at the table, what are we going to be telling people about, aside from priorities of the governor and some of our policy priorities? What is the sort of, how do you step in, how do you engage? So I feel like I'm personally feeling like doing the grassroots work of making sure that those touch points with the governor and the orgs and my education of the orgs is up to date because so much has changed. So those are some spitball thoughts.
I think that's great. And I like that because it frees us as commissioners to visit those tables and say, hey, we can be your connection rather than waiting for them to come to us. So I do really like that idea. I mean, we are the connection to the governor. And so I love that idea of we're bringing her as a guest. We are a powerful commission. She will listen to our community. And so if we can have that proclamation sign there, I think it will be very impactful. Ozzy, if you agree, I think that we should go forward with this. I could commit to be there on October 11th. Like Seba was saying, we need commitment from commissioners to be there. Because in the past, what has happened is commissioners say they could attend and then things fall through. Can anyone else, if Ozzy agreed, would you want to go forward and be part of this event?
Yeah, sorry, yes.
Okay.
I was just double checking my calendar.
Yeah.
October 11 is far enough out. I have nowhere else to be. I'm in town. Yes, I would love to put this on my radar.
Wonderful.
And
Thank you. Of
can you
course.
remind me where it's going to be held again? Is it Salem or is it here?
The capital
Yeah, okay.
in Salem, and I believe there is going to be the first event that they're holding after their construction. So it's exciting because Stacy also wants to create more foot traffic. So we're kind of helping relaunch this space at the Capitol, which is very important.
Oh, this is wonderful. Wonderful timing.
Yes, I do want to highlight how all of these connecting the dots came about. Instituto de Cultura Oregoniana has done this event for several years. I'm not sure how many years, but it's been done for several years. During COVID and the construction, they moved it to being an online event. This year, they're also coming back in person with the support of the Capitol. So it's really a Capitol event with the insights of Instituto de Cultura Oregoniana. And then after my previous years with the commission, I've noticed I was there 2 years ago at the Hispanic Heritage Month proclamation. It was, I think, Saba, it's my first time and my first interaction as a commissioner. So it was very intimate with the governor and very cool event. The following years, not much happened. So my idea is to kind of just complement everybody's efforts that we are all doing, putting us together and collaborate on this. ECO's organizing, Stacy is putting all the logistics together. We're pitching in with our ideas and our connections with the governor. And the governor has the space, the audience to talk about Hispanic Heritage Month like she's done in the previous year. So I feel like it's a win-win for everybody.
I think this is very exciting. And yeah, I'm excited. Thank you for your work on this. And Seba, you would be the person to contact the governor's office and go forward from there.
Yes, I can put in the request for her to be in attendance. I will need a little bit more information from the organization just because they require a lot of security detail. But one thing that I would really love to hit before we move off this topic is proclamation language. I would love if a commissioner had maybe 10, maybe 20 minutes in their day to review the previous proclamation language and update, make edits for the whole commission to review. Is there anyone who is really dying to take that on?
I can do it.
Excellent.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Butler. And Saba, is it too soon to at least send out a hold on our calendar just to see who from the commission is available to attend so we can start to answer some of the questions of, do we get a table as Nancy brought up earlier?
It is not too
Commissioner
soon.
Ayala,
I'm
how
happy to send that.
working this out?
I think
I think I agree with if having a table is going to be hectic for us and we don't have much to share, then how can we be more resourceful on these?
could I piggyback a little bit on that idea? What if we like hopefully maybe we could have some sort of flyering or something, maybe some informational, and we just have it at some sort of organization's table. I don't know. I mean, if there is anything, even if that
And-
makes sense,
and-
or like just our little. I know we have a couple stands. We could just like add it to something.
And to piggyback on the piggyback, I think at the very base minimum, know your commissioners, who we are, maybe a photo, a contact info, or a QR
They
code.
Mhm.
they
Get
have
them
one of
to
those.
come.
Ray, I'm pretty sure Saba. We have
Oh,
like a
good.
Yeah,
little.
we have one. Yeah, but I mean to have it at the event to
To have it
distribute.
at
Yeah.
the event, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and banners and making sure that, and yes, I think we have some time to organize, but we'll definitely need participation, and that will let us know how much more involved we can be.
Wonderful.
So Sabat, we can connect offline and provide you more details on times, dates, and then I can send a summary to everyone else with some of this information, but know that you have the basic details.
I will send out that calendar invite with as much info as I have.
Thank you.
Thank
That's all I
you.
have.
Thank you. That's very exciting. Any other commissioner updates?
No, pardon, not on my front. I just don't want to have
Okay.
it quiet. Yes, thank you.
That's okay. That's okay. All right. Moving on, legislative updates. Seba, did you get a written update or any updates from Senator Campos or Rep. Ruiz's office?
I unfortunately did not. They were planning on being here and scheduling got a little complicated.
Right. That's okay. At the next meeting, hopefully we can have either them or their chief of staff. Okay. Wonderful. So new business, we talked about Hispanic Heritage Month. We're holding on the elections. And we will just have to schedule a special meeting for that. So down to old business. The health equity team update. Micah is not here.
He is.
And
I'm here.
unfortunately, yeah. Oh, you are. Hi.
Hi. Sorry,
Hi.
I had
Hi.
an in-person doctor's appointment. Yeah, I have a couple things. First is my so we originally got information about our positions ending on June 30th of this year. We just received notice that we were actually extended to June of next year, like we were supposed to be. My last day is still in a few days. I still got a new job, so I am still leaving, but we will be able to tie up and wrap up like House Bill 4052 over the next 12 months. So we're very, very, very excited about that. Amy Beth and Reb Nelson are definitely to thank for that. So we'll be coming out with more information like more publicly, but I just wanted to let commissioners know because we literally just got that notice yesterday from HR saying that we were extended through June of next year. Yeah.
Excuse me. Wow. Talk about like ups and downs.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I'm very excited about that. Congratulations on your new position. Is Kai staying on?
Kai is staying, so they will so I'm pretty sure we only were approved 2 positions.
Yeah.
So they'll be working on finding a lead replacement for me over the coming weeks or so. I know hiring is probably going to be a little challenging with not having an executive director right now. But I'm sure they'll work it out. And Kai has all of the tools that they need to at least work on the report, which is like our main focus for the next 12 months. Yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you. And thank you for all of your work you have done for the commission.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay, and Seba, an update on the biennium report.
Yeah. So as you just experienced, budget cycle has a lot of roller coasters of emotion. And so one of the things that we have to do is the biennium report. Prior to Kyle leaving on leave, they were working on that extensively with one of our part-time staff, Eleanor. And it has some solid meat to it. So I do want to share the document if I can find the right tab. I'm going to share the Google Doc in chat with you all so you can at least view it. But this is a good chunk of the meat of the report, and we don't necessarily have a firm deadline on the report. It's just we do have to submit one as an agency to the legislature and the governor's office. I have attempted to pick up where I can. Unfortunately, I am one person with only so many hours in a day. As of yesterday, I have decided that it is best for me to not impede on Kyle's work and make any sort of drastic changes or anything, which I didn't plan on doing, but just really being realistic about my own capacity and recognizing that I had great ambitions to complete this by the end of July, it's not going to happen. I do recall last biennium we submitted it, I believe, during September legislative days. So with Kyle expected to return July 30th or 31st, I do think that we can meet that deadline. But I do want to reiterate, since that this is not something that usually sits in my wheelhouse, I'm going to try and do my best to keep it moving forward, but also recognize that this is something under Kyle's position or the OPA 3 position, and keep it under that as much as possible, and being realistic about my own capacity.
Yeah, thank you. And if you scroll down, you could see OCHA's part, and I submitted, I guess, our information. And is it still an open document that other commissioners can add to it?
You do need to email it to staff just for
Okay.
serial communication stuff, but you can
Sure.
definitely add to it. They just need to be through staff so that you're not in there editing it, because that
Yep.
borders on,
Perfect.
yeah.
Yeah. So please send Seba any things you'd like to add or update or change. I think it's really important.
Especially if you see work in there that, or if you don't see work in there that you've done, you would like to highlight, and maybe there's a community organization or photos that might go well with any of this. I would really love it if you could send that our way.
Okay, thank you. Can we go back up? I'm sorry for jumping around that agenda. I just saw in the chat that for the nominations, we do not need a vote. We just need a vote for the actual vote. So let's go back up to the chair and vice chair elections agenda item. And I would like to open the floor for nominations. We'll have to do it separately, one for chair and one for vice chair. So we can start with chair now, and I will start with a nomination, and I would like to nominate Ozzy for chair.
Why, thank you, Chair Moran. I humbly accept your nomination.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations for chair? Wonderful. If there are, I believe you could still submit them via email.
Because we don't have, we're not working on the same timeline as we normally would, we will, yes, up until the meeting where we are having the elections, you can submit nominations up to that point.
Perfect. Wonderful. And just as a reminder, I will be stepping down. I was in this position as interim to get us through legislative session. And so with that, nominations for vice chair. I'll just do it again, and I would like to nominate Chair Butler for vice chair.
I will accept.
All right, thank you. Are there any other nominations for vice chair? Wonderful. So again, email if there's another nomination. And we'll hold a very quick special meeting to vote on these nominations. And Seba and Ava, I hope that you can help me arrange that special meeting. I know everyone is busy with summer.
Can I ask a quick question?
Mhm.
Would you and Nancy, are you staying on as the executive team? I believe there was some like at-large members, or is Saba maybe, I don't know if that's still the structure.
There is, yes, within the bylaws, it does outline that OCHA has an executive committee, which includes the chair, the vice chair, and 2 additional positions. That has not taken shape in almost a year, but if that is something that the incoming chair wants to continue, you are welcome to do so, and honestly, I highly encourage it.
All right, so to be determined on that. Thank you for bringing that to the forefront. All right. And with that, we're to a very important executive director update. Currently, we're without an executive director. Terrence stepped down. Dr. Myers has been filling that position, but it is now on protected leave. Right now we have Ava and Saba as our only staff supporting. So thank you both for all of your work. Yeah, I'm sure I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it's overwhelming, I'm sure. Ava, I know you're going to give an update, but I first wanted to share voices from the other commissions chairs. We have our leadership meeting, and we wanted this to be on public record, their thoughts and feelings. So I'm just going to read. It's a list of thoughts. And again, this is from the leadership of each chair. So blindsided, confused, frustrating, all support disappeared. Time is valuable, lack of partnership, lack of foundation interest. Who is responsible? Foundational framework is missing. Infrastructure needs to be rethought. Desire for direct communication with the governor. Meeting with liaison and governor desired. Not good use of talent. Governance issues take up all of our time, and stability is needed. And with that, I will have Ava give a more thorough overview, and I think that I would like to open the floor after that.
Thank you. I did reach out to Andre Buehler, who has been the point of contact for the agency in lieu of having an executive director. And there have been a lot of, it's been a lot of like, because of legislative session, and there's just been a lot of back and forth, and decisions weren't being made and being put on hold. And so I did receive, where is it? Here it is. A message from Andre specifically asking about the timeline. And he says that a meeting is currently being scheduled for the OAC chairs with the Department of Justice, Department of Administrative Services, and HR. And they're going to provide guidance on the recruitment process. And I am in the process of scheduling this meeting. I was told that it was going to be the week of the 15th, I believe it is. I don't have exact times because then that got pulled back. So it's like schedule this meeting, then hold off. So that's where we are. We're looking at, I would imagine that we will have this meeting well before the end of July. And so OAC leadership will have some more information. Yeah, that's all I have to report, which seems like a non-report, but it's actually something more than they're working on it.
Mm.
I would say that's pretty good. So thank you, actually. That was more than I was expecting, a quicker timeline.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that. I will say, I think that, Saba and the staff, Micah and Kai and I have talked, and I think that it's fair to say that, a lot of what the commissioners are feeling, we're experiencing as staff too. So we're all hanging together.
Well, I really appreciate you and I appreciate Saba. I don't want to speak too much out of turn, but I will say a lot of that. First of all, and also Commissioner Ron, thank you for putting that on record. I think it is critical right now that there's a little external and internal pressure happening because just from my experience when I was chair, there was a lot of dysfunction healing that was in the process of healing, but it wasn't fully healed, and to have it then again changed, yeah, I think that just is not a recipe for productivity and for accomplishing our strategic priorities, which is our statutory obligation. So I do feel very much at this point that the governor's office slowness to react to a lot of the issues with both past executive directors and even just the processes in general has interfered with our ability to do our jobs as commissioners. And that's unfortunate, especially being on the commission on Hispanic affairs. While our job and focus should be advocating for the people in our community, and we have almost exclusively at least in my experience as chair, had to deal with administrative issues and admin issues. Not with you two, of course. Not honestly the staffing, and I would say this for Dr. Kyle as well, held this whole organization together. 44 adults, there's 11, that's 8 representatives and senators and 30 some odd adults across the state. So I really appreciate y'all doing that. But at the same breath, it's undercutting both your work and our work. So I hope that this, I don't know, I'm not sure it's going to be seen by the right eyes or heard by the right folks, but I'm glad that we at least are acknowledging the wild elephant in the room that is the lack of executive leadership. That honestly, I think that, in my humble opinion, both anyone from the staff from the past 2 years that I've worked with y'all would be more than qualified to take on this role and at least have the knowledge and like connection to all of us as commissioners to do the job well, rather than hiring someone externally that is just going to have to start this process all over again. But I also recognize now that that's sort of an inevitability. But I yield my time. So if anyone else has any thoughts, it's a great time to discuss them.
Yeah, thank you. Micah?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I Ozzy, especially now that you are like chair and you'll be in a lot of these
Almost.
almost.
We haven't completely
Well, there's a
voted.
process.
Yes. Sorry, I'm like
Don't be
I'm
scared off too. Yeah.
I'm projecting. If like you potentially will be the person that is like in all of those conversations with DOJ and HR, and like I really want to empower our chairs to be able to like speak their truths when it comes to this recruiting process for an executive director, and like really be intentional with the next leader that comes into this organization, because like yeah, I've been here 2 years and this would be our 4th manager since I've been here, and that's a lot of change, that's a lot of whiplash. So just like don't be afraid to speak your mind and be like extra I don't want to use the word critical, but extra critical when it comes to like bringing someone brand new into this executive director role. Like you hold so much power as chair and as like being on this commission. And so they are going to listen to you and what you have to say, because ultimately it comes down to the 4 chairs making these decisions.
Well, thank you. I'll take an opportunity since there's still minutes on the agenda, if it's okay, to just acknowledge. I recognize the importance of this role and the importance of this critical moment in the context of the executive director search. I don't know what I don't know about all of the inside workings at this time, but what I do know is that the work that OCHA is entrusted to be able to do is valuable and important work for the overall success of the state. What the way our community goes is going to be in large part the way a lot of the state goes, in as far as economic development and upward mobility and being able to meet the needs of the far-reaching places of our community that isn't in Salem and isn't connected to politics. Um, we have, I think, an important tip of the spear kind of opportunity as OCHA, because we represent such a diaspora of communities, and we are so represented in all levels of all industry sectors. So it's like it hits a lot of places for us. So I think that I take this moment, with great humility, knowing that in the past, as I've served as chair of other governor appointed bodies that are policy advisory agencies with state money, that the work that we've got to do to serve the public means we've got to have a deep understanding and a deep connection to the people that are at that level. And what we are able to do right now is not just important to OCHA, and that's the way I lead with this, is it's really important for the state to accomplish its goals of serving the public. So I don't feel the need to defend that what we do is important. I feel the need to say, hey, if this is important for the state to do, let's put the pieces in place to make it excellent. And that's the way I want to kind of approach bringing those voices and the governor's energy and whatever's inside of that machine to the table of effectiveness. More to find out soon, I suppose.
Yes, thank you.
And
Thank you.
thanks, Commissioner Moran, for stepping in at a critical moment and getting us through a whirlwind kind of sequence, and holding us together in that time.
Mm.
And I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And Seba?
Thank you. I just want to say thank you, not just to Micah and Ozzy. You brought up Commissioner Gonzalez, Vice Chair Gonzalez. I will get it right eventually. And then you will be in a new role. I want to thank both of you for the remarks that you made. It actually reminded me of a couple of things. So first and foremost, like exactly what you said, you don't know what you don't know, and I would just really encourage you to lean on the folks in this meeting, not just staff, because we know what you are supposed to do in the process, but you've got some incredible leaders in this meeting who have served as chair, and I really encourage you to continue meeting with them and consulting with them in just terms of continuity of the work that we're doing and what's happening. So that's the first and foremost. The second thing I really want to thank you for is that you highlighted a really important part of this work, which is something that distinctly differentiates the OACs from the RJC, the Racial Justice Council, which is that we are explicitly in community doing community work, and we have community members who are on the ground doing that work. And so I think that's such an important part of this work that not enough people see, just because we don't have the staff capacity to be out on the ground as much as we would like to be, or budget as much as we would like to be. So I just want to say thank you for highlighting that. And there was one more thing that I really wanted to say specifically to Chair Moran and former Chair Butler, which is that being a chair with the right infrastructure in itself is difficult, and we've gone through a lot of transition, and I personally would just say thank you for all of that you've done in your time as chair, not just now Chair Moran, but when I came on staff 2.5 years ago, you were chair. And so thank you for all of the work that you have both done. It really is such a great space to be able to be in this work because of the leaders that we have. And I genuinely mean that. Working with the commissioners is my favorite part about this work. And really, I want to keep supporting you all and appreciate how much you all have shown up for us again and again and again. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for those comments, and we can't do the position as chair without you. So thank you back. So yeah, going forward, I think that we continue to do our work. We continue to advocate for our community. I think that, change is inevitable, and we roll with it and we learn from it, and, good things to come.
I would like to add something, just get it out of my chest. And it's some challenge that I've noticed since day one. And I don't want to brag about myself, but I try very, very hard to be at these meetings, public meetings, and I have a clean record that I've never missed a meeting since I started being a commissioner. But how can we get that same commitment from other commissioners? I am a little bit tired of having all these people out there in the community, but when it comes to at least just showing up to this meeting and getting us that are working moving forward, it's not happening. And that's been holding us back individually, outside of all the topics that you all mentioned. Within the commission, we have commissioners that aren't not doing anything. And how can we depure that? How can we actually, or inspiring them on to do things? We've tried several things, and I know we can't really force anyone to do something or to show up, but I strongly believe that they also help to set us on failures as a commission, and it gives the people on top a reason to not look at us or to diminish our work or to put us in this loop of not moving forward. And it kind of feels intentionally in some ways, and we as commissioners individually are giving them reasons. So where are the rest of the commissioners that need to be here in order for us to vote? I know we need new commissioners. I suggested people, and every time I find people, I send them to apply, but nothing is happening. And I understand there are difficult times, but it just seems like a never-ending problem. And I am a bit frustrated because I do so many things to just be part of this meeting. Every time it's rescheduled when it's not. And I see most of you are as well. So why can the other commissioners do it?
They say I fully sympathize
Get it
with
out.
you. I really appreciate you getting off your chest. I will say, just we were this is like January, right when before I stopped being chair. They were about to, or at least Terrence was. I don't know if Commissioner Moran, if they continue this, which was about to sort of like, I don't want to say issue a warning, but just be like, hey, you need to make these next 1, 2, 3 meetings or step down, because I think a potential short-term solution is also another component. I think I've mentioned this before, is that the governor is rejected our nominations based on our productivity, which is so frustrating because our productivity is based on our commissioner participation. So it's just this catch-22. But if we were perhaps able to reduce the amount that we have total, that reduces our needed amount for quorum.
Yes.
So that's the only, so I don't know. It's hard because I love Patricia. I know Sabina Riggs has been doing this job for like I think 8 years. Am I incorrect, or some extended amount of time? They've done a lot of great work, and they also are doing the Lord's work on the day-to-day. So it's hard to be critical of that, but it is also hard to. I share your frustrations.
Yeah, we need people to show up. I mean, everyone is busy. Yeah, we need quorum.
Yeah.
Yeah, Seba, you've had your hand up for.
I had something that was completely unrelated to this. It's about budget. But I do want to emphasize Micah's comment in the chat, which is that there are, if you feel like folks are not showing up consistently to participate, which they should be, there are processes to go about that. And so I'm more than happy to talk more about that if you'd like.
Yeah,
Okay.
my
Yeah.
plan for 2026 was to have every commission focus on bylaws and like I know they don't sound super spicy and sexy, but like you can change so much in your bylaws that could like really alleviate this type of stress. And so, yes, lean on Suba for that because you can make some really good changes come short session of 2026.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you for that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, just a simple change, just like the common consent for approval of the minutes. I mean, that really moved along our meeting quickly. And I think that we could, make small changes like that that can make us more effective.
And
And
can
I
oh,
did
sorry.
not know if anyone, sorry, no, I don't know if anyone was notified or talked to for missing meetings. That did not continue while I
Okay.
was an intern. Yeah, to
Because
answer your question.
actually, that was the second part of the thing I remember that Terrence and I are also working on, which was going over the bylaws. Because there's even just some things in here that like are just like incorrect, like the amount of commissioners we have, our terms, like they say our terms are like 2 years or something like that. So I guess I was trying to remember what the process was. I didn't know if we even all need to be here. I think the chair and the vice chair can make amendments or at least have everything proposed so that we could just vote on them. Is that something that we still want to pursue going forward? I guess is a good question to ask.
I would need to check on if I know that, folks can get together and have like a bylaw editing committee or one person can take it on, whoever. I would need to double confirm if the commission needs to vote on them, but they do have to go through the DOJ just to confirm that they are in alignment with law. But as
Yes.
it currently stands, all commissioners or all four of the sister commissions, because you all are governor appointed commissioners, you can be removed at the request of the governor, or if you miss a certain amount of meetings, which I believe for OCHA is 2 in a row, unexcused without communicating, the chair is absolutely allowed to bring that forth in a meeting and voice that. And I see Ava's hand, so I'm gonna let her elaborate. I think she might have a little bit more info.
And
No, go ahead, Commissioner Butler, go ahead.
oh, and I would say just a follow-up on that question is, would reducing the amount we have overall change the amount we need for quorum?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quorum is always half plus one.
Yes.
I know that, and you'll have to forgive me because I was off for 6 months and I feel like there's like this vacuum that my brain has existed in. And I know that Kyle and Terrence and I had worked on updating language within the bylaws because there was some horrendously outdated language in the bylaws, especially for, I think the one that shocked me the worst was the OCFW. And I do know that that document still exists. I don't know what happened after I left. So I do know that that is those recommended changes, just like aligning language to today. So we can get that out to you.
Ava, I do have an update on that.
Okay.
On that specific, I believe it was the statute. So what Kyle had done last year was looked at all four of the statute of the four commissions and made sure that they were one up to date and had what's the word? They were
Congruent, like we're all the same.
yes. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And so the intention was, of course, to make sure that as the office that supports you all, that we don't have like random nuanced rules that might not matter. And so those had been presented at the joint meeting. And someone had brought up, one of the commissioners had brought up, when is the time for the commissions to provide the input? And that was when Terrence said now, and folks, and because it has to go through, it's a statute, so it has to go through legislative updates. So it does need to be presented as a bill and then voted on by the House and the Senate and yada yada. And so at the joint meeting at the end of October of 2024, commissioners did not feel like they had sufficient time to review the changes proposed by Terrence to be able to go through that process this long session. So it will, if that's something that you all want to continue, it will need to go through likely the next long session. But I do want to make sure that we know that there's a difference between
Next-
statute
The next short
and
session.
next short session, likely. One or the other, but it does, statute needs to go through the legislature, bylaws do not. Bylaws just need to be approved by the DOJ. So I just want to differentiate the two.
Thank you.
And I know that we are over time, so can I just jump in real quick with my budget update?
Yes, please.
So House Bill 5501, which is the Oregon Advocacy Commission's office agency bill. As Micah mentioned, we did learn that earlier in the session, we had the House Bill 4052 positions end or sunset at the end of June, which would have been Monday. I learned this morning that two of the three are now being extended, but I'm going to paste a link in the chat, and that is the recording of the House floor session from June 11th. It starts at 9 a.m. and it's 4 hours, but the OACO 5501 budget bill is the last 10 minutes. And so it's the last thing on the agenda, and I would highly encourage you all to watch it if you have not already. Rep Tran is the one who carried it on the floor and emphasized the need for just having full staff support for the commissions. And then Rep Nelson did make remarks on specifically why he was voting no on the bill. And I do think both of those are incredibly vital for commissioners to watch. So please, please, please take 10 minutes. And it's the last 10 minutes of this session. Please take time to watch that session. And it is an important part of the work that you all do. I think it's also important to recognize what our legislators who are representing us and on our commissions, how this process works and what they're doing in the back end. If you have questions on that, OCBA is having their rescheduled meeting this afternoon, and I encourage you to come speak at the public comments if you would like to hear more from Rep Nelson, and I'm hoping he can make it, but
Without this amendment, the changes could discourage families.
Oh, sorry about that. I went
no
right through it.
worries. Yeah, so it is the last few days of session, so he might not be able to make it, but I'll double check with him.
Thank you. So I'm about 10 minutes over. So I am going to close this meeting, and we will be rescheduling the vote for chair and vice chair. I'll be working with Seba and Ava to do that. It will be we could do it in a 10-minute meeting. But we need to, as Nancy was saying, we need to have commissioners show up to get this done. And it is quite frustrating when this doesn't happen.
But I honestly, I talked to Patricia prior, just checking in with my month, trying to check in between meetings. They were kind of on the fence about this whole role in general. And so I wonder if they were like, hey, this seems to not maybe be working for you. I think they've missed more meetings than they've attended. If you step down, then we would be able to hit quorum with 3 people. So, that could be potentially game changing for us, at least in the short term, while we wait to have nominations accepted and new commissioners brought into the role. But just something I think to at least present to them. I don't know who should be the one to present it, to be honest, but it could be worth exploring.
Thank you. I think it's important. Yeah. Okay, but our next officially scheduled meeting is August 14th. I hope that is on your calendars. And we will close the meeting.